Oh, what's up, Zinzao abusers? It's the Jizz, and who wants to know the changes coming to champions and items in 11.16? Well, who doesn't? So in this video, the Jizz will be detailing all of the probable buffs and nerfs to the targeted champions and items next patch, and what they could well mean for the future of Summoner's Rift. It is in the balanced team's hands. Now, quick question for you. What do you think needs to get changed the most in the game? Does a certain champion need to be nerfed? Aurelia. Does a certain item need to be buffed? And while you're typing your answer in the comments, open up a new tab and bang in GameWeeb.com, because our site, guys, it's the nuts, the bee's knees, the dog's what's-it. It is the best league website because not only do we upload up to 20 videos a week, they are all fresh and original. They're not just recycled from our YouTube, unlike other sites. So to get that exclusive access to even more Challenger tier content, sign up, links in the description and comment section. So let's get into the changes, guys, and talk about the champion buffs coming in 11.16. And we're going to start in the bot lane and talk about the 280 carries getting buffed next patch, and these are Jhin and Sivir. Now for Jhin, your W's damage is increasing by 10 at each rank, and your ultimate's minimum damage AD ratio is up by 5%. Now for your W, to deal more damage, this is nice, of course, especially with all the CC at the game in the moment, so if you do land it, it's going to be more impactful and probably lead to a kill. And with Dark Harvest as your keystone, this is also going to help. And for the first 3 shots of your ultimate to do more damage, this is also great in the damage department and kills department because you're going to get more of them, especially in the late game as you start getting more AD in your kit. Now for Sivir, guys, what's happening is your W's AD ratio is increasing at later ranks up to 90%. Now in the early game, you're not going to recognize this, especially because most Sivers are maxing their Q anyway, so in the mid to late game, this is really going to become legit. But in teamfights, when the enemy champions are grouped together and your Ricochet is ricocheting all over the place, you are going to be putting out more damage and bringing those enemy champions lower and closer to death. So it's not the biggest change, of course not, but it is a buff nonetheless. Now let's head to the jungle for these next changes, guys, and we have 3 champions getting buffed here, and the first one is Shaco. So what Ryan has said here, the champion buffs, there are bug fixes, and they are also reverting the Q showing in Fog of War from 11.15. So what was happening on every Shaco skin when you Q, you were leaving behind a puff of orange smoke. Now for enemy champions, this is really easy to see now, and it alerts them that the Demon Jester is coming in hot. And this actually affected his win rate a lot, so the fact this is getting reverted and there are other bug fixes in here, this is more like a quality of life buff for Shaco, and this champion has had so many bugs over the years, like a patch note's worth of bugs, so hopefully the main ones get fixed, and we'll have to see what these will be in 11.16. Now the other 2 junglers, guys, getting buffed for 11.16 are Nunu, so what's happening is your base movement speed is up by 5, and your E's total damage, the AP ratio is almost doubled here, up to 90%. So for those of you playing AP Nunu, you guys are going to be happier about this. And the movement speed, yes, it is the meme movement speed buff where you're getting 5, but this does mean you're getting around the map quicker, so who knows, you might get more kills as a result, so nothing to really complain about. Now the other champion getting changed in the jungle, guys, is Jarvan, and what's happening is your basic attacks from your passive, these are dealing more damage based on the target's current health, and your ultimate bonus AD ratio is also up by 30%, so the more AD you have from your items and runes, the more your Cataclysm is going to hurt. But this isn't just a buff for jungle J4, this is also a buff to lane J4 as well, especially in the top lane where lots of champions you play against are going to have a lot of HP, so the fact your passive's damage is getting buffed, this is super nice and kind of low-key, and J4 mains, let me know what you think of these changes in the comments, and that goes for any of you. Let me know down below your thoughts on any of these changes. Now the last 2 champions getting buffed, guys, for next patch, one of them is Vladimir, and I always get scared when I see Vladimir in these notes, but here we go. So what's happening in your passive, each point of AP you have, this is giving you more HP now, and you're also getting more AP per 30 bonus HP instead of per 40 bonus HP. So what this means is that from your levels, when you level up and you get more HP, and from your items as well, you are going to get more AP in there, so you're scaling as Vladimir. If it wasn't already really good, it is now very scary, and you're also going to be tankier and harder to kill because you're getting more HP as well. Now the last champion getting buffed, guys, for 11.16 is Maokai. So what's happening, guys, is that your heal from your passive is increasing. Now this is going to be great for lane Maokai in that early laning phase and the top lane especially, where you're going to have more sustain. But Riot are also targeting Maokai support here because they're changing your E's damage, well, they're actually nerfing it in fact, so the base damage is down and the AP ratio per 100 AP, this is also down as well. So if you're playing AP Maokai in the bot lane and maxing your saplings, this is certainly a hit to that playstyle, but if you're playing tank Maokai in the top lane, you are going to be hard to push out of it and just in a better place. Now let's talk about the champion nerfs, guys, and there are 7 of these here, and let's start in the bot lane, and let's talk about Ziggs, who's been dominating in recent times, and what's happening is that Riot are reverting the 11.14 nerf, so your mana is going back to 480 at the start of a game. So that's not a nerf, and the next change is that your E's damage per mind is going down in the early game, but higher in the late game, so this is more of an adjustment than a nerf. So the only nerf that's coming in for Ziggs is that your slow from your E, this is going down in the early game, so when you throw that out in the early laning phase, it's a bit less obnoxious to play play against. But on the whole, for Ziggs, this just seems like a buff for him, and he's still definitely going to get played in the bot lane next patch, no doubt. Now, the other champion getting changed in the bot lane next patch, guys, is Lulu. So what's happening is your W's cooldown, this is increasing by 1 second at each rank, so less polymorphing and movement speed buffs, and your ultimate's cooldown in the early game is up as well. So really what this means is that because of the cooldown changes, Shirelia's becomes even more valuable because of the Mythic Haze passive, and in the early laning phase there is going to be more of a window of opportunity for the enemy champions to kill you simply because your cooldowns are a little longer here, but not the biggest of changes, so Lulu will still definitely get played. Now let's head to the top lane, guys, and talk about 2 champions getting changed here, and the first is Tahm Kench. Now I'm not sure if you guys have seen Tahm Kench this patch, but he is one of, if not the best top laners going around at the moment. So what's happening is your passive's damage, this is down in the early game, and your Q's healing is also down by 5 at each rank. Now the fact your Q is applying your passive damage, this is going to be felt a little bit more, but to be honest, I still think the Q poke in the top lane is going to be very annoying to play against. And okay, as a lick of tongue, you might not be healing when you throw your tongue out as much, but still, we've seen recently, guys, with these changes and with the last few patches, right, I'm really significantly nerfing or buffing these champions. These are all pretty minor, to be honest, so in terms of Tahm Kench in the top lane, you're still going to see him there. And the other top lane champion getting nerfed for 11-16, guys, is Fiora, and what's happening is your E's cooldown at later ranks is going up. But here's the thing, guys, again, it's a very minor change, and once you have Gore Drinker and Ravenous Hydra, you have so much ability haste, it doesn't really impact your laning phase because you max your Q first. So to be honest, Fiora is still going to be one of the strongest top laners and champions next patch, so no reason to stop playing her. Now let's head to the jungle, guys, and talk about the 3 champions getting nerfed here, and these are Lee Sin, the first one. So what's happening is your W Omni Vamp, this is decreasing by 5% at each rank. So this means just in terms of sustain in the jungle, or if you did want to play him in lane, you're not going to be healing as much when you're auto attacking. Now next up, we have Xin Zhao, and your base AD is going down by 3. Now for Xin Zhao, your base AD going down by 3, this really hurts your early game. And this is where Xin Zhao is super strong, right? Whether you want to go red and then just invade, or red and gank, or red blue gromp and then gank when you're level 3, this brings down that power. So not just in terms of clearing, but also just fighting and ganking lanes, you're going to get less kills, and your clear is also going to be a little slower. So this is definitely a legit nerf, but will this be enough to stop Xin Zhao from being pick banned? We'll have to wait and see. And the last champion getting nerfed, guys, for 11-16 is Diana, and what's happening is your passive's damage, dealing to monsters, this is down by 50%. And this is great, to be honest, because if you're playing mid lane Diana, this doesn't impact you at all. So Diana in the mid lane is still going to be good, which I'm happy about, and in the jungle, this means your clear is going to be a little slower, but it's not the most significant of nerfs, it's just a little dial back in terms of that power. Now the last champion change we have to talk about for 11-16, guys, is the one coming to Sona, and it's a rework here. And what's happening here, guys, so your passive, your power cord, what's happening is your basic abilities, these are granting you permanent Accelerando stacks, and for each stack you are gaining non-ultimate ability haste, so ability haste on your Q, W, and E. This goes up to 60. So at 60 stacks, you're getting 30 ability haste on your Q, W, and E, which is really good for your mid to late game, and seeing as you are a scaling champion, very nice indeed. And also, once you reach 60 stacks, instead of gaining additional Accelerando, because it will cap at that point, your ultimate's cooldown is getting reduced by 1.5 seconds. And by the way, guys, for these Sona changes, if you are a Sona main, let me know in the comments what you think of these changes. Now for your Q or Hymn of Valor, this is going down in terms of mana, so you can spam these in the laning phase and not worry about the mana cost as much. Now for your W, the mana cost, like your Q, this is down at each rank, and you guys wouldn't believe it, but with your E, Song of Celerity, the mana cost is also down, so you can use these a bit more freely. But the thing with your E, guys, is that it doesn't give you a stack of Accelerando. And I should also point out here that you can't just Q and W anything you see on the Rift, you have to sack your passive by hitting an enemy champion with your Q or healing an allied champion with your W. Now what's happening with your ultimate, guys, your Crescendo, your basic ability cooldown reduction, this is being removed, but instead of hitting enemy champions, it's also going to hit enemy minions and monsters as well. The real point here is that with your new passive, the Accelerando stacks, you might be able to, in late game teamfights, when you have enough ability haste, get off 2 ultimates in them. Now if you are new to playing Budget Seraphine, you might miss both of these, but I'd be very interested to know what exactly you guys think of these changes. Let me know in the comments. Now for the rest of the patch, guys, there isn't really much to talk about here. There's just one system buff and one system nerf. So this is the Jizz's last call for you guys to check out the GameWeep website, gameweep.com, for all your League of Legends needs for Challenger tier content, right? Challenger players and coaches, that's what we have, and they are making content on the daily to help you improve to become one of the best. So get signed up, links down below. Now let's talk about Redemption, guys, the support item, and the heal from its active, this is increasing by 20 in the early game, up to 40 in the late game, and its cooldown is down by 30 seconds, which is the big one here. So if you're running Cosmic Insight in your runes as well, this is going to decrease that cooldown too. And of course the healing supports are going to benefit from this a lot. If you're playing Braum or Alistar or a Leona, probably not as much, but the fact its cooldown is down by 25%, this is legit, and the extra heal, this makes it even more viable. And the system nerf, guys, for 11-16 coming in here is the Dark Seal. So if you guys were abusing this on your Smurf accounts, it's time to think again, because the AP per stack, this is down to 4 from 5, and you're going to be losing more stacks when you die. Now Dark Seal, because it stacks up to 10 times, you're going to lose 10 AP at max stacks. So in 11-16, there's going to be more risk associated with going Dark Seal because you're getting less AP from the stacks, and you're also going to lose more if you do die. So if you like living life on the edge, for sure, keep going Dark Seal. But those are all the changes, guys, for 11-16. Again, let me know in the comments what you think of all the changes and what these might mean for the future of League of Legends. This has been the Jizz, and until tomorrow's video, make sure to hit that sub button, by the way. Bye.